In today's Adobe Illustrator tutorial, you will learn how to create interlaced text effect using opacity mask. If you have problems with opacity mask and don't know how to start using it, it's a good chance for you to do this because I will explain how to apply opacity mask step by step, and you will be able to follow this tutorial even if you're a beginner. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to create interlaced text effect and will understand basics of opacity mask, which is a must-know feature for every designer or illustrator. You are watching TNT tutorials? Let's move on! In this tutorial I will use this font. We have two words. Let's pick this one. Click here to swap fill and stroke. Change stroke width. I will move this word up. Now we need to change distance between letters, to place them as we want, to interlace them in the future. You can click on Properties, change distance between letters like this. But in this case it's easier to expand letters, ungroup them, and move them all one by one. This will give us much more freedom to place letters as we want. So let's select these letters, Object, Expand Appearance, then Object, Expand. Click OK. After this, let's pick this one. You can right-click on this group, click on Ungroup, and you will have all these letters separated. But it's better to simply double-click on this group. This will give you more control, because you will simply need to double-click somewhere on the workspace. After this you have this object grouped, this object grouped. You work with only 3 layers, and when you will need to work with some of them, you will simply double-click on it. So I will move letters according to reference, which you can download by the link in the video description as usual. Double-click on the workspace. To exit isolation mode, let's double-click on this group. Let's move this letter. Switch between groups. Alright, I will stop on this result. We can move this group up just a bit. Now we will apply opacity mask to these letters, and in this case it's easier to ungroup all these letters, but we still want to have our workspace clean. We don't want mess in Layers panel. So let's simply create new layer, rename it to Yard. After you renamed this layer to Yard, pick this layer, select it, then in Layers panel highlight Yard layer, so we have Yard layer highlighted and word selected. Now right-click on this word, arrange, send to current layer, and you have it here. I will do the same with this word. New layer, rename it to 1, select this word, highlight this layer, right-click, arrange, send to current layer, and I will rename this layer to white background. Ungroup this word, ungroup this word, and you have full control on these layers. Also notice that I locked white background layer and all layers that I don't want to change or move accidentally. Just click here. To apply opacity mask, click here on Window and select Transparency. This little menu might appear somewhere here. I always recommend you to move it to this corner. Open this menu, drag it like this, so that little icon will disappear. If you will need to hide Transparency panel, you will simply click on Collapse to Icons and then open it again. Right now we will work with this letter and we need to hide this part. So as we need to hide this part here, you don't need to cut anything or draw some white lines. You only need to apply this small part of this letter to this letter. So let's pick O, press Ctrl C to make a copy, then select Y, click here on Make Mask. After this, click here on Clip, select this icon. After you will select it, you will enter mask mode. Let me show you Layers panel. We can see all layers, and after we will enter Opacity Mask mode. Let's do this right now. Just watch at Layers panel. You can't see any layers that you've created before. Now you can see only Opacity Mask layers. All the layers that you will create in Opacity Mask. Don't worry about that. In this mode, you can't move, pick anything, only Opacity Mask objects. You will be able to delete them, release Opacity Mask, delete Opacity Mask, and always switch from usual mode to Opacity Mask mode. In one click. Let's return to usual mode. Let's click on this icon. And here you go. All your objects untouched, and you can continue. Thank you for watching, guys. Please spend 1 second right now to support this channel. Click thumbs up, subscribe if you're not my subscriber yet, and leave some short feedback. With these 3 easy steps you can support this channel and show me that you appreciate what I do for you. Now let's continue. So let's enter Opacity Mask mode again. And as we have a copy of O letter, let's press Ctrl plus Shift plus V. You can see this object in Opacity Mask now, but nothing happens. This is just because we have this object as outline. So let's swap fill and stroke. There's only one thing that you should understand about Opacity Mask. Nothing more, just one thing. That to be able to hide some parts of object, you will need rich black color applied. But let's apply white color to this object. And you can see that this object is white, and it just doesn't make any effect here. So what's the point in this? If you will switch to grayscale mode, and you will move this slider just a little, you will see that this letter becomes a little bit transparent, where we have this O letter applied. I move to black color. It becomes more and more transparent, and when we have black color, this object will be fully transparent in places where you want it to be transparent. It can be anything. You can add any objects you want, and this letter will be fully transparent. Let me show you this. So I will press Ctrl plus Z, press Ctrl plus Shift plus V again, swap fill and stroke, and as we don't want this part to be transparent and this part, we should simply pick white color. Let's press I for eyedropper tool, pick white color. We're in Opacity Mask mode, don't forget that. Then you can use P for pen tool, for example. And let's draw this shape. Now let's hold Alt and copy this shape here. A for direct selection tool. And we can see these objects. Just look here. We have white color on this rectangle. If we will change color to rich black, we will simply hide all this part. If we will move this rectangle somewhere here, we will hide some other part of this letter. So let's just bring it here, apply white color, and continue with this letter. Return to usual mode, let's click here, select this object, Ctrl C, select this letter, make mask, clip, enter mask mode, Ctrl Shift V, swap fill and stroke. We don't want to hide this part, so let's pick white color, P for pen tool, and simply draw any shape you want. Like this. It can be even very small. We just need to select some area that we don't want to hide. Pick this object, Ctrl C, select this letter, make mask, clip, mask mode, Ctrl-Shift-V, swap fill and stroke, deselect this layer, we're in opacity mask mode, eye for eyedropper tool, pick white color, P for pen tool, we want to reveal this part, so let's draw white rectangle here, and we also need to reveal this part. If you need to fix something, A for direct selection tool, and do this. Usual mode, let's pick this letter, Ctrl-C, pick this one, make mask, clip, mask mode, Ctrl-Shift-V, swap fill and stroke, don't forget to deselect this object, eye for eyedropper tool, white color, P for pen tool, draw rectangle here, and here. What you should notice is that if you will decide to move this letter, you might think that you will need to apply opacity mask again. You think that you will need to release, delete all the shapes that you applied in opacity mask to this layer. You might think that you will need to place this letter differently, and after this, apply opacity mask again. But nothing like that. Let's press Ctrl+Z. Everything is much more simple. Just pick this letter and click here to unlink. Now, as you will move this letter, mask will still be untouched. So move this letter as you want. You can see that we simply need to move little rectangles that we've created before. Let's enter this opacity mask, pick these rectangles, and move them. If you learned something new from this tutorial, drop a comment below, let me know if everything was clear enough for you and what you liked about this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial, support this channel by clicking on subscribe, and what's most important, by clicking on the bell icon to get notifications about newest interesting tutorials from TNT. I would also appreciate if you will click thumbs up and will share this video. This was TNT Tutorials. See you in next videos!